Greetings, dear subscribers and inquisitive people about different cultures and history. My name is Akalay Baymatova, and I'm a teacher and a translator, native speaker of Kyrgyz language. I have translated a shortened version of Epic Manas by Kyrgyz writer Marbajeev from Kyrgyz into English, and I would love to teach anyone willing to know about this wonderful Kyrgyz epic that has transcended through centuries and still alive. Prepare to embark on this captivating journey into the heart of Kyrgyz culture as we delve into the most cherished epic, Epic Manas. This epic isn't just merely a story, it is a symphony of ideas, artistry, and folklore that holds a special place in Kyrgyz oral tradition. While the allure of Manas has always been a part of Kyrgyz heritage, it wasn't until the 20th century that scientific curiosity began to unravel its depth. Interestingly, Russian scholars caught glimpses of its magnificence as early as the late 19th century. By the 1930s, Manas had become a focal point for theories and studies in the field of folklore science, often sparking debates that transcended academic boundaries. So, recognizing its profound significance, the Manas Studies course was introduced in all Kyrgyz Republic universities, filling the long standing gap in the curriculum. This course, in our YouTube course, of course, it's a short guide, meticulous. I'll try to tailor to align with national educational standards, and also it serves your gateway to deeper insights into Manas and its invaluable connections to Kyrgyz identity. So let's dive into the two distinct sections, one offering a theoretical exploration of this epic's multifaceted dimensions, and the other providing concise summary of its pivotal episodes, complemented by a practical reference toolkit. So join us on this enlightening journey and allow Manas to ignite your understanding of global social, and cultural phenomena. Welcome aboard this quest for knowledge and cultural enrichment. So let's discuss how the Epic Manas emerged. So the emergence of Epic Manas. The Epic Manas is one of the most famous works of Kyrgyzstan's folk literature and culture. It emerged as a result of long process of oral folk creativity and was recorded and systematized in the 19th century. The emergence of epic manas is connected to historical events and culture of the Kyrgyz people. The epic tells the story of hero Manas, who was a legendary leader and warrior, defending his homeland and people from enemies. The Manasa story includes numerous adventures, battles, and heroic deeds. The epic Manas arose in the context of oral folk creativity, where stories were transmitted orally from older generation to young generation. These tales and songs were an important part of Kyrgyz culture and identity. They reflected historical events, values, and ideals of Kyrgyz people. Over time, in the 19th century, the epic Manas was recorded and by Russian researchers and Turkologists and collectors such as Vasily Ratlov and Kazakh researcher Chokan Valikhanov. This allowed for the preservation and transmission of this important work for future generations and for study, of course. The epic Manas holds a prominent role in Kyrgyzstan's cultural heritage and is recognized as a significant symbol of national history and identity. In the folk heroic epic, special attention is given to the national characteristics of the main characters, often referred as Batır, regardless of the whether or Russian Bagadir. Regardless whether the word Batır or Bagadir is explicitly present in the epic or not, the primary significance lies with the individuals possessing exceptional qualities and abilities that represent the strength and the potential of an entire nation, state, or social group. The epic originates in oral form, such as tales, epics, historical songs, or ballads. However, the key characteristic of the epic is its poetic form, which gives its distinct musical rhythm. The epic narrates the past of a people that can never be a narrative of the present. In contrast to the term epic and its definitions, which have evolved as a literary scientific concepts, the word jomok is a folk origin. It was used to tell us or to denote the tales of Manas. In some regions of northern Kyrgyzstan, where the epic Manas was widely known, it was referred as Jomok or Chongjomok. And the narrators of this work were called Jomokju, or storytellers, this traditional name for the genre of this epic. So the word Jomok signifies the transmission of story through oral tradition, a legend or a tale. It exists in various Turkic Mongolic languages and has its root in the word dom, meaning a legend, shaman's narrative, and the adventures of a soul in the afterlife for the sick, according to Professor Sagalayev. Over time, the term epos or epic as a genre designation became more prevalent in scholarly and literary circles, gradually displacing the word jomok, which remained in usage primarily in the sense of tale among people, like in everyday language. So let's talk about the emergence of the epic Manas, how the Manas epic appeared. The Kyrgyz people belong to the ancient nomadic nations of Central Asia. Due to the unique characteristics of their historical development, the Kyrgyz nomads developed a mnemonic creativity, which played a significant role in all of their achievements. Their unwritten poetic creativity held a special place, particularly in the form of epic poetry, folk epics. The Kyrgyz people have around 40 folk epics, with the most monumental among them being, of course, the heroic epic Manas. In relation to Manas, all other Kyrgyz epics are conventionally referred as minor epics in Kyrgyz scholarly studies, although none of them fall short in terms of content or form compared to other epics from around the world. The creators of epic Manas were the storytellers known as Manaschus, who possess exceptional memory, although it's not only distinguishing feature. It's like a divine gift. They also serve as a custodians of the epic, transmitting its text from generation to generation, from one mouth to another. Thanks to the efforts of these storytellers, the epic Manas evolved and improved. It was these individuals and other storytellers, Manaschi, whose names were etched into the collective memory of Kyrgyz people that served as bearers or guardians of the great tale of Manas. Today, in the field of research, there are primarily three main hypotheses regarding the time of the emergence of the epic Manas. First, according to Mukhtar Awezov and Bernstam, the pivotal events in Epic Manas are linked to the period in Kyrgyz history when they had relations with Uyghurs. The second hypothesis is by Yunus Aliyev, based on the analysis of the epic's content as well as the certain historical facts, ethnographic, linguistic, and geographical information, concludes that the foundation of the epic is connected to events from the 9th to 11th centuries when the Kyrgyz were at war with the Kidans, known also as Karaktai. The third theory, Zhermonsky argues that despite the presence of elements in the epic reflecting ancient beliefs of people, the historical layer of epic relates to the events in the 15th to 18th centuries. The current level of research on epic manas does not allow us to fully endorse any of these hypotheses that we talked about just above, while rejecting others as unsupported. A deep analysis of the epic's content leads to the indisputable conclusion: the events comprising the content of manas encompass multiple layers, indicating a long process in the work's formation. Within the text of epic manas itself, archaic elements are clearly preserved, which can be traced back to times long before Kyrgyz entered the period of their statehood. So, even more ancient aspects of the epic are connected with remnants of matriarchy. The epic's plot contains traces of significant events experienced by ancient Kyrgyz, their history of interaction with other people, other ethnic groups, and the path they took in subsequent times. An analysis of enduring key events in the epic reveals that the content of epic manas reflect the highest stage of tribal social organization, the era of so-called military democracy. Therefore, when we investigate questions relating to the genesis of this epic, it is necessary to carefully identify and examine each layer, starting the most with the most ancient ones. So, the epic manas, in historical sense, in historical records, for several years now, there has been a wonderful opportunity to openly use previously concealed facts, documentary sources, and new perspectives on many historical issues and processes of the past, which were once under restriction, contributing to the historical development of Kyrgyz society or general post-Soviet society. Currently, many historical documents written in Chinese, Arabic, Sanskrit, Persian languages are more and more. They provide new and fresh insights into our past. This suggests that the Kyrgyz people held a special place on the world stage in history. So, in the early 12th century, an Arabic speaking author, traveler, and a physician named Tahir al Marwazi noted that Kyrgyz rulers had singers and storytellers who entertained them with songs and tales accompanied by a string instrument in the evenings. String instrument, I'm suspecting it's kumus or qilgyak. This is the first mention of Kyrgyz performance of folklore works in written sources. Of course, it cannot be stated that with certainty that they performed manas. However, considering that the epic was composed of a long period of time, incorporating various small tales and other genres, it is quite possible that at that time they performed works that would later become part of epic manas that we know today. So if it's difficult to assert based on the work of the Arabic author from the 11th to 12th centuries that he was performing, referring to epic manas, another written source confidently confirms it. This is the Tajik language composition Majmu at Tawarikh, collection of histories or collection of legacies, which was discovered only in 1959 in the library of Eastern Faculty of in Leningrad University. Right now it's St. Petersburg, Russia. The author is Mullah Saif ad-Din Akenti, and after his death, the work was completed by his son Nur Muhammad. The transcript as the whole dates back in 1503, and it's written in Tajik language. Majmu at-Tawarikh is an interesting to us, primarily because in episodes where it talks about the epic Manas, its heroes are alive and act alongside with the real historical figures who lived at different times. For example, together with the epic heroes, the composition mentions the names of specific historical figures. Abaka Khan, the ruler of Iran from 1265 to 1282, Timur, who lived from 1336 to 1405, Tokhtomush Khan, who died in 1406, the ruler of Golden Horde in the late 14th century, and others. So, in addition to it claims that Tokhtomush supposedly built the city of Manas in honor of Manas. So, although according to well-known sources, Tokhtomush was not in the city of Manas located in present-day China. So, in addition to this, it is narrated about Manas and his allies who stood against the Kalmyk conquerors. In the manuscript Majmuat Tawarikh, Manas is portrayed as a historical figure. In one of the battles against Kalmyks, Manas confronts Joloi, Kalmyk Khan Joloi. On the battlefield, Manas rushed swiftly. The mournful cities' cries of the enemy were heard when Joloi directed his spear at Manas's finger. Manas skillfully deflected it with his own spear. At that moment, a fierce battle began. These lines indicate that the epic Manas existed in poetic form even before the 15th century. So the manuscript contains information about Manas as a historical personality, explanation of the roots and tribal divisions of the Kyrgyz people, and the connection of various cities and settlements such as Atbashi, Naryn, Chuy, Kemin, Talas, Andijan, Osh, Kochkor, and others. So overall, the descriptions of the tribal genealogy of the Kyrgyz coincide with the modern scientific data. Despite being written in Persian, it is believed that the author of this manuscript was from Kyrgyz nomadic tribe, as in the 15th century, Persian served as a literary and written language in many Central Asian states. Um, During the Soviet times, this manuscript was not extensively studied because it lay there in Leningrad library because its main idea was considered to be religious, related to the glorification of Islam and the explanation of Muslim faith doctrines, rituals, and customs. Unfortunately, its significance as a source of that reveals the life and activities of Kyrgyz people was hidden in the Soviet times. So, from the content of this historical monument, it can be understood that the epic was already highly popular among the people at that time. The first mention, if not the epic Manas, then at least of Manas and his son in Russian literature, begins with the information provided by Major Franel, who lived in 1849, who was a government representative in the Kyrgyz horde at that time. According to this account, the local Kyrgyz considered themselves to be descendants of the Nogais, who had been a nomadic before them. Kyrgyzbai, their progenitor, and with two sons, Adigene and Tagay, fled from the oppression of Nogai princes. Manas and his son Simitei from the banks of Ilai River to the mountains in the south, according to Moldabaev. So we talked about the origins of Epic Manas today, and next time we will continue our lecture. Till next time, bye.